Now, Ben Narnain is a mountain of false summits. Just when you get to the first rise, you think you're at the top and there's another bit to go. And this first section here, this first so-called false summit, is, according to the map, it's called Craig Nam Iach. I think some people would say Craig Nam Fiach, but what it actually means is the Crag of the Raven. Now, again, it's quite a common name in hills, especially to do with crags, because it's quite a common thing for ravens to circle around these crags, and it can actually be quite eerie when the mist comes down and you hear those ravens calling out, especially when you're on your own. And it's the kind of thing that makes a tough mountaineer say, "Oh, I think I'll just go back down, I'm scared." But it's a very, very common name indeed. So that's Craig Nan Iach.
From Craig Nan Iach, we get our first uninterrupted view down Loch Long. This is a sea inlet and a very long loch indeed, at least 23 kilometres. But why is it not called Loch Fata, the Gaelic for a long loch? Could it be that long is actually the Gaelic word lung, spelt L-O-N-G, and meaning a three-masted sailing ship? Is there an association between this sea loch and visits in the past by three-masted sailing ships calling in an aracher? There is another Loch Long at Dorney in Kintail. This is also a sea loch, and not in fact particularly lengthy. Another Loch Lung, perhaps? An extension of the Aracher Loch Long is Glen Loin, or Glialn Loin, easily visible below. Now, without getting too grammatical, Loin, L-O-I-N, is the genitive of lawn, L-O-N, meaning a meadow or marsh, the glen of the marsh. This would make sense, since this glen was once inundated by the sea at the end of the Ice Age. With the weight of the ice removed, the land began to rise. Geographers call this isostatic recovery. For some time, therefore, the recently emerged glen would have a marshy floor. So you see, some knowledge of Gaelic can provide information about the past as well as the present environment.
Well, I did say that Ben Narnain is a mountain of false summits, and we certainly have managed to negotiate the first of these, Craig Nan Iach. But now we're faced with Cruach na Mishech. That's that name Cruach coming up once again, which, if you remember, means the stack, the pile or the heap. And Mishech means a kid or a young goat. And it was quite a common thing, in fact, to have hills named after goats, because goats were placed on crags in order to keep the sheep off, because sheep are more likely to fall over, whereas goats are much more sure-footed. So there you are, Cruach na Mishech. Now, it has to be said that Ben Narnain, as regards mountain architecture, is not all that exciting, really. It tends to be overshadowed by its more dramatic neighbour, Ben Arthur. The trouble is the Ben Arthur name poses certain problems, because locally it's also called the Cobbler, and we need to sort of investigate this just a little bit. Ben Arthur might not in fact refer to King Arthur, you know, the British king that defended these islands after the Romans left, defended Britain from Cornwall to the Clyde. It actually may be derived from a Gaelic word, Artrich, which means stony, Ben Artrich. And it is indeed a stony mountain, so that's one possibility. But as you can see, the mountain in fact has three summits. And it's the one in the middle which is supposed to look a bit like a cobbler sitting over his last. And there is a Gaelic name for that, and the mountain may have been called this name many centuries ago, the name being An Grí Asache Craum, which actually means the crooked shoemaker. And it's that middle peak there, which is in fact the highest point of the cobbler, at 2,841 feet. Now, the dramatic pointy peak to the left of that is Jean the cobbler's wife, known locally as Jean the cobbler's wife. I don't have any Gaelic for that, I must say. But the one that usually catches the imagination is the dramatic overhang, the so-called North Peak, but it's sometimes referred to as the Ram's Head. So the name the cobbler, collectively known as Ben Arthur, is quite a complex mountain. Kirst Maha, right then. Despite the fact that we've been walking for 8 days and 8 nights, the summit of Ben Narnain eludes us still. So we decided to stop here and have a little bit of a rest. But while we're here, take a look that way. The hill you see there is one of Ben Narnain's outliers. It's connected to Ben Narnain by a rather rocky ridge, and it's called a chrosh, which means the cross. Why it's called the cross, I'm not too sure, but once again we have to refer back to Peter Drummond in his excellent book Scottish Hill and Mountain Names, and he says that there is actually a vertical crack in the face of the hill which is crossed by a ledge, giving it the appearance of a cross, but I've never ever seen that. Maybe it's on the other side of the hill, that's possible. Religious names do crop up now and again in hill names. There is a hill quite near Tyndrum in Och Glen called Beinns, which means the mountain of the monks. But apart from that, I can't think of many more that have this religious connotation. But that's a chrosh. Now I suppose this is actually the crux of the climb, this final stage. But what we have here is a piece of land linking Cruach na Mishich with Ben Narnain proper. And whenever you find a connecting link like this, a sort of ridge, then it's very often given the name Drochich, which is a Gaelic for bridge. But actually in this case, as far as I know, this particular link here is not in fact named. So maybe we could just simply name it now, Androchich, the bridge. It actually divides two corries. The one on the left is drained by several streams which flow into a larger stream called Alt Valachin, and that's derived from the word Balach, meaning a boy, so it literally means the stream of the boy. Now there is a kind of connection here with youth, I suppose, because not far away there's a mountain called Benim, and I think more properly in Gaelic it would be Ben Ima, which means the butter mountain. Now why this connection with youth and butter? It may seem rather bizarre, but in fact in centuries gone by, the young people of the clan would bring the cattle up onto higher pastures during the summer, and there they would live in temporary summer houses called sheelings, boys and girls living together, and they would milk the cattle, and they would also make butter and cheese, and then of course send the butter and cheese down into the glen. Now that stream Alt Valachin has another name, a name in English. It's often simply called the Buttermilk Burn. So there's all this connection with butter in this area, and grazing of cattle during the summer at higher levels. But on the other side, there's a corrie which is drained by several streams, and they all flow into another stream called the Alt Sukach, which means the cheerful stream, or bubbling stream, something like that. Now the next stage in this climb is to simply go down here along that path, crossing the bridge and Drochich, and start the climb. Now it's often referred to as the crux of the climb. That's the word that rock climbers would use. You know, these people that dangle from crags on ropes, sometimes referred to as crag rats. They would probably laugh at something as easy as this and probably do it with their hands in their pockets. Well, I did try it once with my hands in my pockets and fell off. So I think maybe this time I'll keep my hands out of my pockets. Okay, let's go, the crux of the climb. scrambly bit. This is us now at the base of the spearhead buttress, and this is in fact really the last bit of the climb before we go into the fairly extensive flat plateau summit. Funnily enough, I've already said that the Gaels named every single landscape feature, but there doesn't appear to be a name, a Gaelic name anyway, for the spearhead buttress. I don't know if we should risk trying to make up one. That would be rather dodgy, you know, not being a native Gaelic speaker. Certainly the word for head is ceann, and spear is something like sluach, but I don't think we better risk that. We'll leave that to the Gaelic speakers. So come on, Gaelic speakers, give this a name. Right, we'll need to head up here now. We have to be careful we don't dislodge any rocks because it is a bit screey and scrambly. Watch out for falling stones. I thought you said Ben Narnian was easy. Blind toad. Trig point. Well, here we are at last at the summit of Ben Narnian at 3,036 feet. I won't tell you what it is in metres, we'll just leave that for the metric brats to work that out. But I think in fact it's time to do a wee spot of mountain name dropping. After all, we do deserve some rewards after that hard climb.
The mountain that you see there looking rather dark is Ben and Lochan. This means the mountain of the Lochan. It's below 3,000 feet, and in fact it's well named because there is a Lochan nestling just below the summit, Loch Restil. Here we have Benim, I think more properly pronounced Beinns, which means the Butter Mountain. At over 3,000 feet, it is in fact the highest of the Arachar Alps. In the distance, Ben Louis, which translated means the Calf Hill. There we have Ben Os, one of Ben Louis' close neighbours, and this means the Loch Outlet Hill. In the distance, two prominent peaks near Crianlarich, Benmore and Stobinian. The one on the left is Benmore, and in Gaelic it should be pronounced Evain Vor, the big mountain. Stobinian, its neighbour, means the Anvil Peak. And there we see Scotland's most southerly Munro, Ben Lomond. In Gaelic, Bain Lumain, which means the Beacon Hill.
Now we need to find our way back down again, and a knowledge of Gaelic can very often give you an indication of what the route is like. For example, if a mountain is called Carn something, like Carn and Turk up to Glen Shee, that very often means that the summit is stony. Now the Ordnance Survey map doesn't always show you that, so a knowledge of the Gaelic meaning once again does give some help to the hill walker. So let's take a look at the map and see if we can suss out the route of descent. Suddenly out of nowhere appears an Ordnance Survey map, and despite the wind we will attempt to check on our route. It's not going to be easy, but we'll try our very best. Right, okay, let me see now. Now, the route of descent is shown here. There's a whole string of Gaelic words which I will not attempt to pronounce, but I will attempt a translation. And what it says here is slope of the big, tiring, stony boulders to hop over. Oh yeah, I knew there'd be some problem. Anyway, let's tackle it. Practice my boulder hopping techniques. The hill walking is about getting away from it all, but sometimes it's actually quite comforting to meet another person on the hill and maybe ask him about the route. My God, look, it's Callum Crosby, ex of Coatbridge College. Hi Callum, hiya, fancy seeing you here. My God, what a grumpy sod. Must have got out of bed too early this morning. Walkers very often have great difficulty trying to pronounce names that they see on maps. You know, the Gaelic names being quite difficult. Even Lowland Scots find it rather alien. But actually, here comes a hill walker now. Would you believe it? Maybe we can try this out.
Hi.
Hiya, how you doing?
All right, thanks.
Where have you been climbing?
Just up the top of the cobbler.
Ah, the cobbler, managed to get to the top.
Yeah, it's good.
Stuff,
Great
good
view.
stuff.
Terrific.
How are you with regards to map reading?
Well, not too bad.
Do you ever have any difficulty with the odd Gaelic names that you see?
Well, so.
Well, she'll never manage it. She's English, never. How about having a go at that name there?
You mean stoppen and Coinish Vachen?
She managed it not too badly. Okay, fine. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. Don't hog my video. It's my video. On you go.
Anyway, I'm from Edinburgh.
Great.
I have here two requests for favourite mountain names to be pronounced. The first one is for Miss Anne Hughes, beauty therapy tutor at Coatbridge College. She wants to hear her favourite mountain name pronounced. Just for you, Anne. Croachin Bjaun. One more time. Croachin Bjaun. And the second request is for Mrs. Wendy Gormley, Senior Lecturer, Department of General Education at Coatbridge College. She wants to hear her favourite mountain name pronounced. OK, just for you, Wendy. Sgurrs na Kishje Dye. One more time. Sgurrs na Kishje Dye. OK, just remember, keep those requests rolling in. So far you've been listening to my stumbling attempts at speaking Gaelic. Now's your chance to hear how this beautiful and expressive language ought to sound. Just listen to this.
An the Nilan Illa, an the Mula, a monarch dosro chast, agus coragel gainkin, a faz, rishna strangeran. Have rish giar noga a naivnesan. Stocha mar naivnes a hiad gael, fechin ben tala is ben moor, le cota oil a yauri. Unnige ferransho, laums gavile, imita